to now 58%. Our net cash is ahead of our net worth and profitability, which has grown by 17% on account of our efficiencies that we got in working capital, and that's why you see this net cash position actually going up, and because of which the dividend payouts also of the companies actually increased. Now, all this performance would not have possible but for the strategic planning and the strategic initiatives that we took in the current year and which will be maintained for the future years. Some of the key pillars of strategy I would want to talk about is the power brand strategy. Our power brand strategy is to scale up our brands, to provide focus on the business, to focus our resources on selective brands which will become household names in India, which will grow beyond 1,000 odd crores, and will continue to invest behind this. But it is not just investment behind brands, it is to make brands more purposeful. Therefore, the brands are changing, evolving, getting refreshed at a very fast pace on year-on-year basis, and that's why consumer is granting us with that trust and with that the entire equity, and that's why the brands are actually growing. We have got 8 power brands in the company, and these power brands contribute to 70% of the total turnover. They are innovating and they are increasing the addressable market, trying to capture the market which are hitherto were not there, and creating the markets for the future. And also we are creating a portfolio for the future for next 10 years. Then innovation is a center stage of all the activities that we do in Dabur, and innovation pace is actually picked up. Our new product contribution is actually gone up to around 5 to 6%. We've also institutionalized in the organization what we call a RISE framework. It is called identification of regional insights and executing it with speed and excellence in the marketplace. We have created some homogeneous clusters, and these clusters have been given autonomy and decentralization to drive all these innovations and these initiatives to execute with excellence. Then the third pillar is focus on digitization and technology, and without those technology interventions, it will not be possible for us to build an organization for the future. We are continuously digitizing all the functions in the company as we speak, but more so in marketing, wherein we are connecting with millennials and Gen Z. We are expanding our distribution to reach out to rural consumer, to connect with the millennial consumer as far as e-commerce is concerned, direct connect with the chemist outlet to ensure distribution of our healthcare products, and executing with excellence by giving empowerment to our teams across the organization. To ensure that we are able to do justice to the power brands investment, innovation investments, digital investments, and distribution expansion investment, it's very important for us to embark upon cost optimization and value enhancement across the value chain in the company, for which we've launched a framework, what we call Samriddhi. It is cost optimization exercise, a zero-based budgeting that we are doing across the organization, and I'll talk about it a little later. And then Dabur has an unflinching, aggressive kind of priority being given to our environment and social initiatives. And this social and environment agenda is why we exist in the business, first of all. So I'll talk about supporting employees, community, and environment, pursuing our environment and social agenda. First of all, focus on the power brands. Power brands, as I told you, contribute to around 70% of the entire turnover of the India business. We have given disproportionate investments in power brands, started innovating around power brands and doing distribution expansion for our power brands. Power brands contributed to 19% of our growth. Other part of the portfolio grew by 8.6%. Overall domestic business grew by 15%. Chyawanprash and Honey, as alluded earlier, has contributed to 500 crores of our turnover. PudinHara, Lal Til, and Honitus are being strengthened and being scaled up, and we are larger franchises than the turnover that you guys see. Amla hair oil and red toothpaste are HPC power brands. Amla hair oil is gaining market share and consolidating its position, and we got a flanker brand strategy here to protect and create moats around Dabur Amla, our flagship brands, and created value offerings around Dabur Amla, which are also growing at double digits along with Dabur Amla. Red toothpaste has crossed a milestone turnover of 1,000 crores in financial year 21. Our Réal brand is a food and beverage power brand, which in the first quarter has shown a growth of almost like 80% after the growth of around 4-5% in last year due to the headwinds of COVID. The second strategy or strategic pillar for us is the innovation across the value chain in the organization. Innovation is our cornerstone, whatever we do, and we believe, and that's a firm belief across the organization. And I think everybody in the organization now shares the vision along with me that without innovation, we'll not be able to thrive and create an organization for the future. We've innovated across all our verticals of healthcare, home and personal care, and food and beverage business, along with our channels like e-commerce and international business, and also for modern trade and also grocery and chemist outlets. I'll first talk about a few innovations. We launched almost like 50 products last year. I'll not take you through all of them, but some of the salient innovations I'll take you through. First of all is the healthcare innovation that we guys rolled out. Now, this is honey, one of our stellar brands. You're all familiar. Dabur is synonymous with the honey that we sell. We are wanting to take honey from a therapeutic chest, which is just not an immunity builder for the country, but also trying to fortify the honey in the healthcare space. And we've launched honey, tulsi, and ashwagandha. As part of our honey strategy also, we are trying to move it from a medicine chest to a food table. So because of that, and the biggest barrier that we searched out is the taste in honey. So we're trying to imbue a taste in honey and create newer formats of honey which will make this transition from our therapeutic chest to our food table. And we've launched very interesting products called Honey Tasties. They are available in chocolate format, chocolate variant, and a strawberry variant. And if some of you haven't tried it, I must urge you all to try it. It's a great, fantastic product. Then Dabur made an entry during the COVID year into the tea category. In the key tea category, this is the first brand which is giving immunity in a tea. Rather than giving tannins and caffeine to consumers, we are committed to improving health and wellness of the consumers, and this is a pursuit in that direction, providing immunity to the consumers in a format of tea. This is Dabur Vedic Suraksha tea, available in a tea bag format. Very soon you'll see this in the bulk format also. Then we rolled out a range of single herbs to enhance immunity during the COVID year. The reception of this NPD range is also been received very well in the marketplace. We launched variants like Giloy, Tulsi, Ashwagandha, Amla, and Haldi. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. You will see this range expanding and giving an option to the consumers to choose whatever ingredient which suits them to enhance their immunity. And this is just single herbs. Going forward, we will get into multi and poly herbal segments also. Then we launched an entire range of drops, which is easy to use, convenience immunity builders. In the morning, Indians have a habit of consuming hot water. Hot water just fortified with some 4 drops of tulsi and 4 drops of haldi keeps you good as far as immunity is concerned for the year. Very convenient format. Got excellent reception from the marketplace, doing well. Then we launched a range of health juices in the country: Giloy juice, wheatgrass juice, Amla juice, aloe vera juice, and neem and Giloy juice for diabetic patients. And this range is also doing exceedingly well in the marketplace. Then we launched nasal drops in the country. As we know that corona contracts through the nasal passages and the salivary passages through nose and mouth. So we launched Anu Telam. It is first of its kind oil as per the prescription of Ayurveda. We rolled it out, and it gives you relief from headache and nasal congestion, besides coating your nasal valves so that the coronavirus cannot impact us. Then we launched a version of Kada in South, which is called Kabasur Kudneer, again as per the prescription of Siddha medicine in the country. So we launched that, and it's doing exceedingly well, besides launching Kada in the Hindi heartland. We are also, while I speak of innovation in healthcare, I think one thing I missed out is that we are also collaborating with the Government of India and Ministry of Ayush and doing a lot of clinical trials on the single herbs and Ayurvedic ingredients so that we collect data and scientific data, and this data can be proven to other regulatory bodies in overseas markets so that our healthcare portfolio can move overseas very well. Today, there's a huge barrier on regulatory front of taking the healthcare portfolio abroad, but we are trying to breach that barrier by doing a lot of clinical trials with collaboration with the government. Now I'll come to some innovations in our health and personal care space. Our flagship brand in the health and personal care space is Dabur Red. Dabur Red extended itself into more contemporary formats to connect with the millennial consumers who may not be wanting to use those kind of traditional products. We launched Ayurvedic pulling oil as per the Kavla Gandusha therapy, again mentioned in Charak Samhita, and we launched. It's a very scientific product and great, and prevents COVID, and we've done clinical trials also for that. Then we launched another product called Dant Rakshak. Our Dabur Red continues to do very well in south of India, and we've rolled out low unit accessible price points to extend and expand the distribution of Dabur Red in North India belt. But we feel there's a huge opportunity to encash or our oral care equity, and we launched Dabur Dant Rakshak as an anti-aging toothpaste, first anti-aging toothpaste in the country. The reception has been a little muted on account of COVID, but we are continuing to invest money and to see that the traction comes in. Then we launched alpha ingredient range in oral care, which is hitherto missing in the country, and Dabur wants to take the first mover advantage in this space. We rolled out neem variant, clove variant, and tulsi variant. We test marketed in South. The reception has been brilliant, and now we'll be extending it to e-commerce and also in North of India. And this is going to be a premium range for us. In hair care, we are continuously refreshing and revamping our brands. We've changed and contemporized our packaging from old Dabur Amla bottle to the new bottle with a better volume perception. We are calling out that we are the world's largest hair oil that exists in India, Dabur Amla. We've also engaged with new celebrities for competitive reason. I'm not able to tell you who the new celebrity is. We rolled out Dabur Badam Amla hair oil for the rural market. Again, got a brilliant reception and doing very well in the marketplace. Then to premiumize the Amla franchise, we rolled out and take care of the organoleptics and the sensorials and how to contemporize them. We launched Dabur Amla Aloe Vera in the e-commerce space and also in select modern trade. The brand is doing well, and we are monitoring the performance of the brand as we speak. Then Dabur Vatika hair oil, which is a value-added coconut oil for us, is doing exceedingly well. We've revamped the entire packaging and given it a new graphics and also improved the formulation to the consumer, and we are promising them 50% less hair fall backed by clinical trials of Vatika as compared to the other brands in the marketplace. Vatika as a brand got a huge potential, and it's a household name in international business, whereas in the domestic business it's been restricted to only the coconut oil category. In our pursuit to extend the Vatika brand franchise, we've rolled out very acceptable, modern, contemporary, sensorial-driven hair oils in the market on the e-commerce space. Aloe vera hair oil, argan hair oil, olive hair oil, and Bhringraj hair oil, which promise lesser hair fall, stronger hair, more manageable hair to the consumers and more to the millennial consumers going forward. Then in the coconut oil segment, we launched Dabur Gold Coconut Oil in south of India. And we've just launched it. Its test marketing is done. We've got great execution going for the brand in the south of India. Then in shampoo market, we contextualized our brand franchise and launched a variant for germ kill, and we've done clinical trials to show that it's very effective against coronavirus, and this variant has been rolled out, which is fortified with neem and aloe vera. Then entire new range under the Dabur Sanitize brand was rolled out last year during the COVID period, wherein we had floor cleaners, we had disinfectants, surface cleaners, hand sanitizers, sprays, an entire range, and under the Dabur Sanitize brand. Coming to the food and beverage portfolio, I think there were multiple innovations that we rolled out in the foods portfolio. As you all know, Dabur Réal is our flagship brand in the beverage portfolio. We wanted to extend the beverage to food space, and we want to call ourselves as a food and beverage company under the Réal brand and not be restricted only to beverage space. That's one pursuit. The second is to extend the Tetra Pak brand, which is there in Dabur Réal, and blow the franchise a little bit more larger to address or to increase the addressable market in India and extend the Réal franchise to the PET bottle and connect with the millennials. Millennials don't like to use a Tetra Pak. They want to go out and use the PET bottle. So it was a Réal's entry into the PET bottle done exceedingly well, and it's getting great traction in the marketplace. In the Tetra Pak also, we rolled out a premium range to connect with the e-commerce consumers and launch variants of pink guava, Alfonso mango, and mixed berries. And this is value accretive and also profit accretive to the company. Then Réal made an entry into milk. During COVID, milk had a tailwind and all the milk and milk-based products were growing at a very fast pace. Réal as a franchise thought could be extended, and we've launched it. We've already gained 1% market share in the category of milkshakes, and we launched Milk Dabur. We launched Réal Milk Frappes as milkshake, available in vanilla, chocolate, mango, and strawberry flavors. Again, got excellent response in the marketplace. As I alluded to you earlier, that in Réal, we will not restrict ourselves to beverages. We will be extending ourselves to food. And also, we've got a brand called Homemade, which is extremely salient as far as ginger and garlic paste is concerned. We've extended that brand to get the consumers to switch from unbranded markets to branded markets. And we made an entry into chutneys and pickles market and launched the tomato chutney. We launched garlic chutney, and we launched green chutney. And also, we converted the unbranded pickle market to the branded market and launched mango pickles, lime pickle, mixed pickle, and also chili pickle. As the time elapses and the variants consolidate themselves in the market and distribution expands, we'll be introducing more variants in the pickle market also. Then we made an entry into Imli Salt is what we rolled out. This is samosa and pakora chutney. If you guys haven't tried it, you must try it. It's a brilliant product that R&D chefs are doing great work. Then Réal brand has been extended to the carbonated beverages. We see carbonated beverages as expanding our addressable market to carbonated segment, and which is a huge segment and promises a great growth going forward. So Réal is now available in fizz-based drinks. So we launched a brand called Réal Apple Fizz, Réal Masala Cola Fizz, and Réal Nimbu Fizz. This is available in the market, doing exceedingly well. The PET bottle market earlier has been restricted to the mango market. The Réal has taken the first step to now launch other juices also in the PET bottle. So we launched guava, lychee, mixed fruit, anar in the PET bottle also, and it's got a good reception coming in from the marketplace. As we speak, in the first quarter, we've rolled out a variant of pickles. It's a red chili, excellent, one of my favorites here. Now, I'll talk about the channels. We see e-commerce as a sunrise kind of a channel and the future channel, and the contribution of e-commerce is 2%. Now, as we speak, in the first quarter of this financial year, it's already 8%. It's doing exceedingly well. One of the vectors to bolster the growth in e-commerce is to introduce e-commerce first NPDs. So some of the NPDs that we introduced on e-commerce, I will not talk about all. We have 8 products that we introduced in the baby care range, extending our Lal Tail baby franchise into the baby product and doing exceedingly well, giving good business only on e-commerce channel. We got 8 products out there, which includes shampoos, lotions, oil, washes, powders, diaper rash, creams, baby soap, and wet wipes. Then we also made an entry into staple segment. Last time when COVID first wave hit us, we found that we could not reach out to the grocery outlets because we didn't have a staple portfolio, and only what was allowed in the grocery was the staple business. So we said that we'll get into staple, but it should not be profit dilutive, and therefore we launched very upper end, premium end grocery products out there only on e-commerce, which are value accretive and profit accretive to the food business. So Dabur launched cold pressed mustard oil. This is also to improve the health and well-being of the consumers and asking the consumers to switch out from refined and move to more value-added and cold-pressed oil. So we introduced mustard oil, sesame oil, and you'll have many more to come as you see going forward. Then we introduced apple cider vinegar, again a very innovative product, trending exceedingly well on e-commerce, and again in the same. And then we rolled out organic honey in the marketplace on the e-commerce, which is again premium honey. Himalaya forest honey was also rolled out. And then in the HPC space, we rolled out an entire range of Vatika select shampoos. Again, no nasties, getting rid of all sulfates, phthalates, silicons from shampoo, and introduced a complete no nasty range based on plant-based additives to introduce on e-commerce, getting good traction in the marketplace. So these were some of the innovations in the domestic market. Now I'll move to some innovations which we rolled out in the international business, because innovation agenda is both in India and also in international. In international business, I'll touch upon three key markets: MENA market, Turkey market, America, and Sub-Saharan Africa. The first of all is the MENA market. We introduced a whole range of sanitizing products to encash on the opportunity of COVID. We introduced body washes, skin lotions, body mist, introduced a whole range under the Dermoviva brand of antibacterial products, introduced organic virgin coconut oils, a range of alpha ingredients of toothpaste, higher premium end Amla hair repair solutions, extended healthcare, cross-pollinated healthcare products from India to the overseas markets by launching PudinHara, Honitus, and Honey's Hot Sip. Also extended our hair color range by introducing Vatika oil fusion range in the MENA markets. Coming to Sub-Saharan Africa, which is a growth pillar and giving us a growth of almost mid-teen to in 20s, we launched Medimax range of hand washes, introduced the olive oil range, and also hairdressers. Coming to the Turkey market, we introduced a whole range of body washes and hand wash products and revamped our existing range also. In Americas, we extended our range of oil change sprays and introduced hair repair brands also. Focus on digital. Now, digital is improving, or I should say the digital investments of the company has actually been increasing. If you look at this slide, our digital investments in the business were limited to around 2.7% of the total investments that we used to make. From 2.7%, it's gone up to around 24%. The money in digital that we are spending is now on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. We've also engaged with multiple influencers and doing a cross-tab between multiple influencers taken for around 25 states, multiplied by various themes of food, beauty, baby, and wellness themes, and taken them across the board for 25 states and investing money behind them. We also embarked on moment marketing, and big events is where we did sponsorships with Cristiano Ronaldo had pushed off the Coke bottle. We leveraged that event and we sponsored that event with Hajmola. Also, Friends, which is a very upcoming, or which was, there was the anniversary of Friends series, and we associated that with the Réal brand. Then distribution expansion and our execution excellence continues, wherein we've improved our distribution from 1.2 million outlets to 1.3 million outlets, a lakh outlets that we added in a span of 1 year in India last year. In terms of chemist outlets, we've increased our chemist coverage from 2.4 lakh chemist outlets to 2.6, and this year we'll be reaching out to around 2.75. Our village coverage has increased from 52,000 villages to around 70,000 villages. In the next 2 years, we'll be increasing our village coverage to 80,000 villages. Our doctor coverage has gone up from 56,000 doctor advocacy to around 72,000 doctors that we reach out to, around 15,500 increase. in the doctor coverage. And as I told you, to fund all these strategic initiatives, you required investments, and this investment would come from our Samriddhi project or cost optimization project. Last sales, supply chain, overhead leveraging, manufacturing, and rationalization of manpower with some optimization of span of control. And last but not the least, our agenda on social purpose for the company. And I think the first port of call when it comes to committing ourselves to the social measures is the employees. Employees is the first and the foremost in terms of our agenda and the priority. And what we did as far as the employee welfare is concerned from Dabur, first is we were one of the first companies to have shifted to a remote workplace working. We had announced working from home as a first company. Then a regular communication was being issued by the senior management to all the employees. We provided COVID-relevant allopathic and homeopathic medicines to our entire staff and the employees, whether it's internal core or it is external core. Then we announced insurance schemes for off-roll employees, frontline workers, and also our CNFA employees. COVID testing facilities were given through the Healthcare at Home, which is a sister company of ours, and COVID helpline, 24-hour COVID helpline, again through Healthcare at Home, was announced to employees and was available to the employees. As you know, during COVID, ambulance facilities were not available, so we engaged with the Mebulance company, and therefore 24-hour ambulance facility and the support was available to all our employees. COVID isolation facilities were provided, and all our guest houses across India in Dabur were converted into COVID isolation facilities. Oxygen concentrators were imported from other countries as there was a huge shortage of oxygen concentrators in the country. Vaccination drives happened for employees and families, and I'm very proud to say that around 70% of our employees in India and around 50 to 60% of our employees in the overseas market have already been vaccinated by around 2 jabs. Medical insurance policies, COVID leave policy, salary advances were all given, and there were changes in policy that we institutionalized in the company, and 12-month salary was given to the employees in case of unfortunate incidents of somebody losing their lives. Organized special webinars with renowned medical practitioners and for well-being and mental health for us. This was the internal core of the company that we were committed to. Now the external core and the communities. Dabur earmarked a fund of around 21 crores and donated around 5 crores to PM Care Fund. The activities which were conducted with this kind of a 21 crore of investment which was put behind it, this was providing COVID care centers across India, supporting COVID wards across hospitals. Mobile COVID testing vans were rolled out. Special COVID screening camps were organized for police and personnel and the community members, provided protective kits to the frontline workers and the police personnel, and immunity and nutrition kits were given to all the external community members. We distributed juices, immunity kits, health kits, and collaborated with governments, as I told you, to conduct clinical trials, etc. We engaged community members and made face masks. We set up 4 oxygen generation plants across our factories, whether it's Varanasi, in Varanasi, Ghaziabad, Baddi, wherever we have factories, we set up oxygen generation plants there. Awareness camps were set up for COVID facilities, and vaccination drives were carried out amongst several communities. In terms of our environment agenda, Dabur reduced our impact on the environment across the value chain in the company. There was a 25% reduction in raw water consumption, 18% reduction in the base year effluent generation vis-a-vis the base year, 33% reduction in hazardous waste, 58% reduction in sulfur oxide. We were committed to our groundwater harvesting and groundwater management, in which rainwater harvesting continued to happen across our plants, around 12 plants in India. and we developed a second pond development is happening in Pacific. As Mr. Mohit Burman rightly alluded that this year we'll be committing ourselves to become a plastic waste neutral company. We've already recycled around 9,000 metric ton of plastic, and this year, like 1,000 metric ton of plastic, that is what we generate in the India business. And then we protected our endangered species and herbs and plants as per our biodiversity initiative. We work and engage with 7,000 farmers across India, and we are teaching them, providing them training how to grow the saplings, how to do the art of cultivating real buyback guarantee, and taking the plants from them, which also helps us in the sustained availability of our raw materials. We are also engaging with 12 across the country for this particular initiative. Last but not the least, I would want to thank, with this I come to a close of my presentation, and want to thank our employees, our stakeholders, our shareholders for reposing so much of trust in Dabur and for the great work our employees have done. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Malhotra, for a very insightful presentation covering economic and industry overview and the company's business operations. Dear shareholders, as the notice convening the AGM, Director's report, audited standalone and consolidated financial statements have already been circulated to all the members. The same are being taken as read. The statutory auditors and secretarial auditors have expressed unqualified opinion in the respective audit reports for the financial year 2020-21. There were no qualifications, observations, or adverse comments on the financial statements and other matters which may have any material bearing on the functioning of the company. We now take up the resolutions as set forth in the notice. We will open the floor for any question by the member after the resolutions are tabled. Item number 1 is ordinary resolution relating to adoption of the audited standalone financial statements of the company for the financial year ended 31st March 21, the report of Board of Directors and the auditor's report thereon. Item number 2 is ordinary resolution relating to adoption of the audited consolidated financial statements of the company for the financial year ended 31st March 21 and the report of auditors thereon. Item number 3 is again an ordinary resolution relating to confirmation of 175% interim dividend already paid and declaration of 300% final dividend on equity shares of the company for the financial year ended 31st March 2021. Item number 4 is ordinary resolution relating to reappointment of Mr. Mohit Burman as director who retires by rotation. Mr. Mohit Burman is a promoter non-executive director. Item number 5 is again ordinary resolution relating to reappointment of Mr. Aditya Burman as director who retires by rotation. Mr. Aditya Burman is a non-executive promoter director. Item number 6 is an ordinary resolution relating to approval of remuneration of rupees 5.68 lakhs payable to cost auditor Mr. Ramnath Iyer and Company for the financial year 21-22, that is current financial year. Item number 7 is ordinary resolution relating to approval of appointment of Mr. Mukesh Haribhutani as non-executive independent director of the company to hold office for a term of 5 consecutive years with effect from 1st January 2021 to 31st December 2025. Now, before we go live with question and answers, here are some points to note for your convenience. Members are requested to keep their questions and suggestions brief and specific. The moderator will facilitate the questions on the video feature. When your name is pronounced, kindly turn on the video so that your video is projected on the broadcast screen. Kindly unmute yourself and proceed to ask the question. Please mention your name, DP ID, client ID, or if you are holding share in physical form, folio number, and the location from where you are joining. Each shareholder will be provided 2 minutes time to express their views and ask questions. To avoid repetition, the board will respond to the questions at the end. Once you have asked your question, you must switch off the video, mute yourself, and continue to watch the proceedings. Company has received the request from many members to speak at the AGM. Members may please note that the company reserves the right to limit the number of members asking questions or making suggestions depending upon the availability of time. Members who do not get the opportunity to speak or are not able to connect while their name is pronounced may send their queries to the company and the reply will be sent to them via email. Now the floor will open for shareholder question and answer. Moderator, please activate speaker shareholders one by one.
Thank you, sir. This is the moderator here. I will bring the registered speakers one by one who are currently available. The first speaker is Mr. Himanshu Bhatia from Meerut. I would request Mr. Himanshu to switch on your video and unmute your audio and proceed with the query. Thank you. Yes, sir, you have unmuted. Please proceed with your query. Mr. Himanshu,
Good afternoon.
proceed with your query.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Please proceed.
Yeah. Good afternoon to all present. I am Himanshu Bhatia, having shares of Dabur India Limited, and my Demat account number is IN 302679. First of all, I would like to thank you, the management, for accepting my request to speak before you. I have been a fan of Dabur Red toothpaste, which has been exceptionally well in comparison to other toothpaste brands in the market. Also, Dabur's Ayurvedic toothpaste, Dabur Dantraksha, has seen a good response from consumers in the comparison to other brands. But sir, its availability is an issue. I am residing in Meerut in Uttar Pradesh. Please let me know the stores where it is available. My request to the management is that Dantrakshak should be made available all across the country to increase the Ayurvedic benefits to public at large. Sir, here I want to add that in the annual report under key initiatives, under the title Dabur Red Paste says no to paper cartons, it is really good to know that company is taking steps to replace paper cartons used for packing Ayurvedic toothpaste with some eco-friendly packaging. I want to know from the company management, sir, on the announcement of financial results 2020-21, the news covered by Economic Times in May 21 stated that company flags challenging operative environment on challenges such as lockdowns imposed in various parts of the country, rising COVID cases, and government restrictions on supply and challenges in procuring raw materials. Company had responded that it will focus on its power brands and Ayurvedic healthcare portfolio despite the uncertainties of the fresh wave. Could you please enlighten us on the same? Further, the last bonus announced by the company in the year 2010. It has been 11 years since last bonus issue. Does the company have any plans for bonus issues? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will move to the next speaker. The next speaker is Mr. Batmesh Dubey from Lucknow. Mr. Batmesh is currently not available, so we will move to the next speaker. Next speaker is Ms. Shalini Kaushik from New Delhi. I would request Ms. Shalini to unmute your audio and switch on your camera and proceed with your query. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am myself is Shalini, shareholder of Dabur India Limited. My DP ID and client ID is 12033201032544172. I am joining this AGM from Delhi location. First of all, I would say thank you to the management for giving me the opportunity to be the speaker. As we know, with the COVID time around, the product choices and the taste of the consumers have been changed drastically, and men and women have learned to groom themselves at their home instead of visiting the parlors. Sir, the visibility of the Dabur beauty products is comparatively less in the market. So I request you to please increase the product range in general market. I would also request you to add product for man as there is good scope in it. I have some question regarding the skincare segment of the company. First of all, how the skincare segment performing currently and as the sales have been on the lower side, and what the measures has been taken by the management to revive the sales of the skincare segment, or the company is having any plan to acquire new brands of skincare segment. Thank you so much, and I wish and pray for the well-being of everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We will move to the next speaker. The next speaker is Mr. Raman Java from Sonipat. I would request Mr. Raman to unmute your audio and switch on your camera and proceed with your query. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Raman Java, shareholder of Dabur India Limited. My DP and client ID is 120816090663141. First of all, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be a speaker during this AGM, and thank you for sharing the detailed annual report for financial year 2021, which gave the true picture of the performance of the company. It was totally amazing to know how the company has expanded its range of products in the market with good position in market share in each of the product segment. With the COVID times around, the company had totally encashed the opportunity to enhance its market share by launches various health related products, which surely has contributed to highest ever sales of the company. There are just few questions in my mind which I would like to ask from the management. Number one, with the online business booming during this COVID times with players like Amazon, Flipkart marking highest ever sale, does the company plan to list all of its products to be readily available on such online platforms? If yes, please also inform, does online channel affect the profit margins of the company as well? Number two, have you expanded your distribution coverage in financial year 2021? How much of your sales comes from rural markets? Last one is, which channels have seen high growth during this financial year 2021? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will move to the next speaker. The next speaker is Mr. Manoj Kumar Agarwal from Dubai. I would request Mr. Manoj Kumar to unmute your audio and switch on your camera and proceed with the query. Thank you. Mr. Manoj, you have unmuted. Please proceed with your query. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Manoj Agrawal joining the AGM of the company from Dubai, and my DP and client ID is IN 3042955039598. First of all, I would like to thank Chairman for briefing us about the performance of the company during the financial year 2020-2021. Consolidated sales for the year 2020-2021 being almost rupees 10,000 crores, and which I feel is an excellent achievement, and of course with the hope that in current financial years sales will grow further and achieve the highest level mark. As shareholder, it is always a pleasure to see that faith of people has grown up in Dabur products, which reflects that company is focused in quality above all. Though I have a couple of questions on company's operation in international business, which I would like to ask. First is, how is the performance of your foreign subsidiaries across geographies? And second is, do you see any impact of COVID-19 on the international business? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next speaker, Jasmeet Singh and Mr. Deepankar Purkashya is not available at this moment. And we have received a few pre-recorded videos from the registered speakers, and I will bring them one by one. The first speaker is Ms. Prerna Gupta from Noida.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Prerna Gupta, and I am a shareholder of Dabur India Limited. My DP ID is IN301436, and my client ID is 812000191. To start with, I would like to thank the chairman for briefing the shareholders about the performance of Dabur during their financial year 2020-2021 speech. Sir, it has been really great to know the efforts your company has put in to help the community as a whole during these tough times of COVID. We have seen the customer needs and preferences changing drastically during these times, and we are now focused more on things like Ayurveda, personal and healthcare hygiene. And I feel Dabur has been pretty quick in changing their portfolio mix and introducing such products like sanitizers, immunity kits, kadhas and giloys, which I've never really been seeing in their portfolio before. I personally still use tulsi drops, not for immunity building, but because they taste very well, and I do hope my immunity has also boosted. But to be very honest, I think it's really good to know how quickly a company can change its productions and bring products that are really into what the customer demands. It's also good to know about how the employees of Dabur have contributed to the cause, and I've read this in on page number.
We'll move to the next speaker. The next speaker is Mr. Tarun Kumar Vyas from Vatika.
Hi everyone, my name is Tarun Vyas. I'm connecting from Jaipur. My DPID is 303028. I wish to convey thanks to the company for sending me detailed annual report covering the true picture of the company. Thank you for sending the annual report via email. Sir, I strongly support company's initiative for sending communication to us via email. We got the annual report without wasting any time. Communication in paperless form also helps to save our environmental resources too. We all must do whatever little bit we can do to save our environment. Sir, I was amazed and happy to know that our company has initiated plastic waste management by collecting and recycling over 11,000 metric ton of plastic waste during this year. With the global focus on the climate change, I am pleased to know that our company is doing such fantastic initiative to support this cause. Sir, I would like to know, as mentioned in the annual report, Dabur has set itself the target of becoming plastic waste neutral company by the end of 2021-22 of financial year. So, what are the company's plan to achieve this target? Please explain. Thank you.
The next speaker is Mr. Virendra Singh from Noida.
गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन, मेरा नाम धीरेन्द्र सिंह है। मैं कंपनी का एक शेयर होल्डर हूँ। मेरी डीपीआईडी क्लाइंट आईडी है 12091600026709772। मैं नोएडा से यहाँ प्रेजेंट हूँ। मैंने ऑब्जर्व करा है कि लास्ट कुछ सालों में कंपनी की ब्रांड विजिबिलिटी काफी बढ़ी है। कंपनी ने काफी प्राइम चैनल्स और न्यूज चैनल्स को एंगेज किया, जैसे कलर्स, आज तक, और इन सब में एड रन करने के लिए कंपनी ने काफी बड़ी सेलिब्रिटीज को भी एंगेज किया है, जैसे कि डाबर च्यवनप्राश के लिए अक्षय कुमार को, परिणीति चोपड़ा को, डाबर हनी के लिए जैकलिन फर्नांडिस को, और इनका अच्छा रिजल्ट भी नजर आया है टर्नओवर और सेल्स वाइज। सो इसी से जुड़े मेरे दो प्रश्न हैं। पहला कि कोविड के दौरान जब लॉकडाउन लगा था तब काफी न्यूज़पेपर्स की डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन रुक गई थी, तो इन दौरान पे कंपनी ने क्या केवल डिजिटल मीडियम या टीवी एडवर्टीजमेंट्स पे डिपेंडेंट होकर अपने एडवर्टीजमेंट्स रन किए थे, या फिर किसी और मीडियम्स में भी उन्होंने इन्वेस्ट किया था? अगर करा था तो किन में? दूसरा कि मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग के हिसाब से लास्ट एक साल में एड प्रो एक्सपेंसेस 21% के आसपास बढ़े हैं। सो क्या इनमें से हमने डिजिटल मार्केटिंग में भी इन्वेस्ट किया था? अगर किया था तो कितना? धन्यवाद।
The next speaker is from Nepal, Mr. Klaus Ram Kudan Chaurashia.
सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। मैं कैलाश राम चौरसिया कंपनी AGM को नेपाल से ज्वाइन किया हूँ। मेरा DPID IN 303028 है और क्लाइंट ID 56900317 है। उम्मीद करता हूँ कि सब लोग कुशल मंगल से हैं और सभी की कुशलता के लिए प्रार्थना करता हूँ। सबसे पहले इस AGM को ऑनलाइन अरेंज करने के लिए धन्यवाद अर्पित करता हूँ। इसलिए हम भारत से बाहर रहकर भी AGM अटेंड कर पा रहे हैं। कोविड के समय ने ऑनलाइन कल्चर को बढ़ावा दिया और हम शेयर के कामकाज आराम से कर पा रहे हैं। मैं कंपनी के शेयर डिपार्टमेंट के प्रति शुक्रगुजार हूँ कि वो हमें ऑनलाइन सुविधा दिए और कोई भी समस्या है तो तुरंत उसका निपटारा किया। भविष्य में भी AGM को ऑनलाइन मोड में ही करने की सलाह देता हूं, ताकि हमारे जैसे दूर रहने वाले लोग भी भाग ले सकें। ज़्यादा समय ना लेते हुए मैं अपने पॉइंट पे आता हूं। हाल ही में आपने नए प्रोडक्ट सेगमेंट जैसे कि काऊ घी, कुकिंग ऑयल्स, कोल्ड प्रेस मस्टर्ड ऑयल, सिसम ऑयल वगैरह लॉन्च किया। इन सब के बारे में कस्टमर रिस्पॉन्स कैसा है? धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. We'll move to the next speaker. The next speaker is Mr. Manoj Bhatnagar from Jaipur.
Good morning, everyone. I am Manoj Bhatnagar, having DP ID client ID IN 302-902-40809894. First of all, would like to thank the company for 475% dividend payout for the financial year 2021. It was shareholders' long-term demand from the company to increase the dividend payout, for which I thank the management for listening to the shareholders and fulfilling their wish. I am a long-term investor associated with the company. The company's regular and consistent growth in the share price and dividend income has given me handsome return. Thank you very much, sir. I would appreciate that the company never fails to send any communication pertaining to dividend, such as intimation regarding the dividend announced, tax exemption, claim procedures, dividend payout, intimation, etc., which keeps us updated about the dividends that the company has announced and paid. Further, if any dividend remains unpaid, the details are made available by the company's website as well, which is very helpful for investors to track their dividend status. I thank the share department for this initiative. Is there any hope of special dividend, sir? I have following queries for the management. With the dividend distribution tax abolished by the government in the Financial Act, what has been the net impact of the same in the company's financials? Is it beneficial to the companies or not? Could you please enlighten with the company's dividend distribution policy, and can we expect the dividend payout percentage to rise in coming future?
Thank you, sir. We'll move to the next speaker. The next speaker is Mr. Kawal Kumar Ratra from Ghaziabad.
नमस्ते, मैं कवल कुमार अत्रा फ्रॉम गाजियाबाद। सबसे पहले मैं कंपनी की मैनेजमेंट को धन्यवाद देता हूं कि कंपनी 1 लाख करोड़ का मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन हो गया है, जो कि एक बिग अचीवमेंट है। Dabur is one of the companies to have achieved the milestone of 1 lakh crore with almost nil debt. कंपनी रिजल्ट बहुत सॉलिड है और कंपनी के पास एक बड़ा रिजर्व है। मेरा मैनेजमेंट से एक क्वेश्चन है कि कंपनी ने लास्ट बोनस 2010 में अनाउंस किया था, जो 1:1 था। अब हम नेक्स्ट बोनस कब एक्सेप्ट करें? एंड प्लीज प्रोवाइड ऑन फ्यूचर प्लान्स टू यूटिलाइज द कैश सरप्लस अवेलेबल इन द बुक्स ऑफ द कंपनी। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. We'll move to the next speaker. The next speaker is Mr. Aditya Bhargava from New Delhi.
Good afternoon, Chairman Saab, Nayak Saab. I'm Aditya Bhargav, DP ID 301670, client ID 10349975. In the CEO presentation, I'm happy to know that Dabur Chyawanprash sales have really grown very well. Even the honey sales have grown at a very high pace. I really appreciate the management effort in achieving such high sales. In honey, there are varieties of honey now. Honey tulsi, ginger honey, organic honey, honey tasties in variants like chocolate and strawberry. Even you have launched and made available various products which were not hitherto in Dabur's range of products like apple vinegar, ghee, cooking oil, to name a few. I really use them and they are really good. Even I know that Dabur has joined hands with various NGOs at various with local NGOs in various states to provide an ecosystem which offers local farmers technical know-how and accessibility to marketplace for selling the honey produced by them. So my question is, we have launched so many varieties of honey, so do we produce them in India or somewhere else? And second question is, how does the company supports the beekeepers? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll move to the next speaker. The next speaker is Mr. Samir from Kerala.
Hi everyone, this is Samir, PA, connecting from Kerala, having my DPID 301549 and the client ID 56108427. We have been the loyal customers of Dabur since years, as well as the shareholders. With the company launching its products of daily requirements, Dabur has become a necessity of every consumer, whether it's a health product or beauty product or real juice, toothpaste, hair oil, etc. Sir, whatever the new products are launched, we always use them, and my trust in you keeps on growing. Being a tea lover, it's amazing to know that the company has launched its products in this segment too. My question is regarding your business in South India. I understand that the South India contributes only 15% of your sales, which is lower than your competitors. What is the company's plans to enhance its presence in South India? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll move to the next speaker. The next speaker is Mr. Yashpal Chopra from Delhi.
Hi, Yashpal Chopra calling from Delhi, client ID 105928847 and others. I am very much proud of our company, the management of Dabur India Limited. This is under Mr. Burman's. The team is that of eminent prominence, and the year gone by, which was a very, very horrible year because of COVID and all that, and in spite of all that, the company has given a grand performance of 10% growth in revenue, PBT, PAT, ROC, EPS, and maintained the dividend track record. So this is a matter of pride for us. The company is not has gained an international name because of the products like Chyawanprash and Réal juice and all that. And in the growth of our revenue, 26% is the share from the foreign exchange from the foreign countries. Though we are having 12 manufacturing units in our own country, we are having 9 manufacturing units in foreign countries as well. So that shows that our reputation abroad, that shows how much we are reputed in the international market. Our company has contributed around 15 crore rupees for the relief of the COVID patients. This is a matter of pride for us. That the basic reason for the success of the company is that company follows the path of ITC, principle of ITC. I means integrity, honesty. T means transparency, no hanky-panky deal. And C means the concern for the employees' welfare. And C, under these COVID times, it was very much necessary. And as the company looked after their interests, the employees put in their blood and soul and just to get the nice performance of the company. And the last C is meant for investors, that the company is just looking after for paying their dividends and all that. But here I have got an objection that our investors have been asking for the bonus, liberal bonus for the last so many years. And company has got ample cash reserves in their kitties. And the company's share is also ruling around more than about 600. So that's a matter of pride for us, and matter of we can very well expect that the company should come out with a liberal bonus for the.
Thank you, sir. We'll move to the next speaker. The next speaker is Mr. Pramod Kumar Jain
मैं प्रमोद जैन दिल्ली से चेयरमैन साहब बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट का धन्यवाद करता हूँ। आपने मुझे आज डाबर की इस AGM में बोलने का मौका दिया तथा आशा करता हूँ आप सभी कोविड की इस महामारी में स्वस्थ एवं सुखी होंगे। चेयरमैन साहब, पिछले कई वर्षों से आपने बोनस नहीं दिया है, कृपया इस हमारी मांग पर विचार कीजिए तथा कोविड के कारण कंपनी की बैलेंस शीट पर क्या फर्क पड़ा है इसके बारे में बताइए। हमारा सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट बहुत अच्छी तरह काम कर रहा है तथा मैं आज प्रस्तावित सभी रेजोल्यूशन का समर्थन करता हूँ। नमस्कार।
Thank you, sir. With this, with the pre-recorded videos, we have completed. So, Mr. Batmish Dubey, who is not able to speak earlier, now he is joined back. I would request Mr. Batmish to unmute your audio and switch on your camera and proceed with the query. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman, sir, and other board member of the Dabur. My name is Padmesh Dubey. My DP ID is IN 302902 and client ID is 41597626. सबसे पहले तो मैं कंपनी के मैनेजमेंट को बधाई देना चाहूंगा जो Q1 ऑफ करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर में हमारी ग्रोथ आई है, जहां हमारा टर्नओवर 32% और पैट लगभग 28% बढ़ा है। इस परफॉर्मेंस पर सारे मैनेजमेंट को मेरी तरफ से बहुत बहुत बधाई। कंपनी का शेयर होल्डर होने के नाते मैं कोविड-19 के दौरान उठाए गए कंपनी के कदम को क्लोजली मॉनिटर भी करता हूं और उनको स्वागत भी करता हूं। इस टाइम में कंपनी ने जो जनरल पब्लिक के लिए इम्यूनिटी बूस्टिंग प्रोडक्ट्स लाइक गिलोय टैबलेट, नीम टैबलेट, तुलसी जूस, टर्मरिक जूस एटसेट्रा जो लॉन्च किए, वो सभी आम जनता के लिए इस कोविड महामारी से लड़ने में काफी कारगर रहे। इसके अलावा मैं ये भी कहना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि मैं फार्मर बैकग्राउंड से आता हूं, इसलिए कंपनी जो बी फार्मर और बी कीपर्स के लिए कदम उठा रही है, स्पेशली उन स्टेट्स में जहां हनी का प्रोडक्शन काफी होता है, जैसे कि आसाम, बिहार, झारखंड एटसेट्रा, इन स्टेट्स में जो सस्टेनेबल बी कीपिंग को कंपनी प्रमोट कर रही है और फार्मर्स को ऑन साइट ट्रेनिंग और बी कीपिंग से जुड़ी अन्य जानकारियां प्रोवाइड करा रही है, ताकि वो ना सिर्फ अपने हनी के उत्पादन को बढ़ा सके बल्कि अपनी आमदनी को भी बढ़ा सके। ये सभी कदम कंपनी के बहुत ही प्रशंसनीय कदम है। कंपनी का न्यू इनिशिएटिव प्रोजेक्ट मधु को जानकर के भी मुझे बहुत खुशी है, जहां बी कीपिंग को और ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रोत्साहन देना तथा MSME क्षेत्र की कुछ और एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को इस कड़ी में जोड़ना कंपनी के उद्देश्य का कारण है। मैं कंपनी के मैनेजमेंट से ये पूछना चाहता हूं कि जिस तरह से हमारी Q1 में एक्सीलेंट ग्रोथ आई है, जो कि वन ऑफ द बेस्ट इन FMCG सेक्टर है, चाहे वो रेवेन्यू फ्रंट पर हो चाहे पैट फ्रंट पर हो, क्या कंपनी सेम ग्रोथ आने वाले क्वार्टर्स में भी देने में कैपेबल है और वो दे पाएगी? इस उम्मीद के साथ मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूं।
Thank you, sir. With this, we have completed the Q&A session with the registered speakers who are available in the AGM during their turn. Now, we are handing over the stage back to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, moderator. While the questions are being compiled, I request the moderator to please run a short video.
Sure, sir.
करोड़ भारतीयों का लाल और भारत का नंबर 1 बिकने वाला आयुर्वेदिक टूथपेस्ट डाबर रेड पेस्ट
इश्यूड इन पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट। कोविड-19 का खतरा लगातार बना हुआ है, ऐसे में आपका इम्यूनिटी कवच है डाबर च्यवनप्राश। मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ आयुष की गाइडलाइंस के अनुसार एक क्लिनिकल स्टडी की गई और पाया गया कि रोजाना डाबर च्यवनप्राश खाने से कोविड का खतरा 12 गुना तक कम हो सकता है। इसीलिए कोविड-19 से बचाव में सहायक रोज 2 चम्मच च्यवनप्राश।
अपने टूथपेस्ट से लोग भी क्या क्या उम्मीद लगा लेते हैं, चलिए देखते हैं। उम्मीद की टूथपेस्ट जर्म्स हटा के बड़ी खबर बना देगा, या फिर ये उम्मीद कि मजबूत दांतों के साथ साथ कॉन्फिडेंस भी मिलेगा। पर दांतों की देखभाल उम्मीद से नहीं, नेचर और साइंस के मेल से होती है, यानी मिसवाक, एक रेयर हर्ब। इसी के एक्सट्रैक्ट से बनता है डाबर मिसवाक, जो जर्म्स को रोके और प्लाक और गम प्रॉब्लम से दे सुरक्षा। डाबर मिसवाक, उम्मीद नहीं, पूरा भरोसा।
अरे पापा सॉल्व कर दो ना।
जब से लिया डाबर बबूल का बड़ा पैक, हर कोई माने इन्हें इंटेलिजेंट, क्योंकि रेगुलर पैक के मुकाबले डाबर बबूल का बड़ा पैक सिर्फ 57 रुपए में। इसका बबूल और लौंग बनाए दांत स्ट्रॉन्ग, और साथ में डाबर सैनिटाइज सोप भी फ्री।
वाह कालरा साहब, बड़ा हेल्दी चल रहा है।
डायबिटिक होना, सेहत का पूरा ख्याल रखना पड़ता है।
पर ये तो आधा है। डायबिटीज से इम्यूनिटी वीक हो जाती है, यानी बीमारियों का खतरा है। डाबर च्यवनप्राश शुगर फ्री है, ये आपकी इम्यूनिटी बढ़ाएगा, तभी तो होगा पूरा ख्याल। डाबर च्यवनप्राश, इम्यूनिटी अब शुगर फ्री।
ना टूटे, ना जरूरत से ज्यादा गिरे, ना चिपचिपे। 100% प्योर, वर्ल्ड्स नंबर 1 डाबर हनी, अब नए स्क्वीजी पैक में। इजी पीजी डाबर हनी स्क्वीजी।
हेल्दी रहने के लिए हाइड्रेशन इज वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट।
पर पानी तो पी।
प्रॉपर हाइड्रेशन के लिए सिर्फ पानी नहीं,
रियल पोमेग्रेनेट।
इससे मिलेगी एनर्जी।
अच्छा,
इससे हाइड्रेशन एंड इम्यूनिटी।
ओके। रियल फ्रूट ORS, इससे इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स।
एग्जैक्टली।
रियल हाइड्रेशन, एनर्जी, इम्यूनिटी एंड इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स के लिए
आज ही स्टार्ट कीजिए, वरना सुई लगेगा। हैप्पी एनिवर्सरी।
हैप्पी मैरिज एनिवर्सरी।
थैंक यू। ओह, टू फुल यार।
मुबारक हो भैया।
हाँ, खा ले।
कोई कहता खा लो बाबू, बचा
एक और खा लो। नहीं चाचा जी।
पर क्यूटी पाई पेट का
पुत्र एक और।
बगल में रखा
खिलाओ खिलाओ, हाजमोला से बचाओ।
खाना कुछ ज्यादा ही हो गया।
खाना या पीना?
ये पेट दर्द और गैस, रात को सो नहीं पाऊंगा मैं, पेट में कांडो मचेगा। एम्बुलेंस का नंबर है ना?
तुम्हें एम्बुलेंस नहीं, पुदीनहरा चाहिए।
डाबर पुदीनहरा। इससे पहले कि गैस पेट दर्द बढ़े, पुदीनहरा पल्स, जिसका सुपर एक्टिव पुदीना एक्सट्रैक्ट दे ठंडक भरा रिलीफ तुरंत। आयुर्वेद है, खरा है, पुदीनहरा है।
मेरा ऑयल है जेंटल और लाइट।
डाबर लाल तेल है सबसे राइट।
ये बनाए मेरे बेटे को सॉफ्ट एंड क्यूट।
ये बनाए मेरी डॉल को मजबूत।
इससे जेंटल और कोई नहीं।
मेरी बेटी, तुम झुको नहीं, तुम रुको नहीं।
बेबी का शारीरिक विकास करे तेजी से डाबर लाल तेल, जिसमें केमिकल वाला मिनरल ऑयल नहीं, बल्कि है आयुर्वेदिक जड़ी बूटियाँ।
चलना तो बस शुरुआत है।
चेहरा क्यों छुपाती हो, ये खेल है या कुछ और है?
चेहरे से ग्लो गया, चेहरा छुपा लिया। फैम क्रीम ब्लीच। सैलून नहीं जा सकती तो घर बैठे सैलून वाला ग्लो पाओ। फैम क्रीम ब्लीच, सैलून लाइक ग्लो एट होम।
ये dull skin and spots, will they ever go? We won't go, we won't go, we won't go.
Fairness creams won't work. Experts recommend OxyLife bleach. Its patented German technology helps remove common skin problems, giving you perfect radiance.
Yes, 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 so
OxyLife bleach. Be radiant, be flawless.
पेश है डेजल फ्लोर क्लीनर, जो कोविड-19 फैलाने वाले वायरस को मारे। अब पाइए डेजल पे जंबो ऑफर, पाइए एक के साथ एक फ्री डेजल व्हाइट डाबर।
लंबे और मजबूत बाल चाहिए तो आंवला तेल लगाइए, पर क्या कोई भी आंवला तेल? आइए करते हैं तेल का तेल और पानी का पानी। डाबर आंवला और आम आंवला तेल। डाबर आंवला है आम आंवला तेल से ज्यादा गाढ़ा और इसीलिए इसकी हर बूंद बालों में आसानी से अब्सॉर्ब हो जाए और उन्हें बनाए मजबूत। लंबे और मजबूत बालों के लिए सिर्फ डाबर आंवला, दुनिया का नंबर।
We now take up the queries raised by the speakers and also few questions received from the shareholders in advance. I now request Mr. Mohit Malhotra to provide response to the following queries. A couple of shareholders have raised query on what has been the impact of COVID on the operation of the company during the second wave in the month of April-May. Mr. Mohit Malhotra, please.
Thank you, Mr. Jain. So this time around, COVID wave 2 was a greater humanitarian crisis. With the second wave as compared to the first one, the daily case count went up to around 4 lakh cases as compared to last year in the COVID wave 1, it was around 100,000 cases, the peak cases. However, this time, while COVID hit us close and home and we were all impacted in terms of lives and livelihoods, but this time around, we were better prepared during the crisis because of the learning curve which happened in the wave 1. And the supply chains were not impacted as much as wave 1 because the lockdowns were staggered and localized. Our factories and supply chains continued to remain operational. Distributors were functional. Frontline teams were working in the markets in spite of COVID. But there were fewer channels like CSD, Horeca, institutionals, which were impacted on account of restrictions on mobility and people staying at home voluntarily. Some of the markets in India and overseas business continue to see lockdown as we speak. Like Bangladesh is still under quite a lot of lockdown, and some places in Nepal are also under lockdown, while other places, the international business, things are improving.
Thank you, Mr. Malhotra. Then there was a question from Mr. Bhatia, who invited our attention to the news item carried by sometime in May 21 by Economic Times, stating that company flags challenging operating environment. The news item also cited that the events such as lockdown imposed in the various parts of the country, rising COVID cases, government restriction on supply and challenges in procuring raw material. The company had responded that it will focus on its power brands and Ayurvedic healthcare product portfolio, despite the uncertainties of the fresh wave. Could you enlighten us on the same? Mr. Mohit Malhotra, please.
Yeah, sure, Mr. Jain. So while the operating environment remains very challenging, and it was challenging in wave 1 and challenging in the wave 2, and still we are in a state of flux to know whether the wave 3 is going to hit us or not. But despite the COVID headwinds and the macroeconomic issues that we face on account of demand suppression because of COVID and supply chains shutdown, we as Dabur have not wavered away from our long-term or medium-term strategy of power brands. We continue to invest behind our power brands. We have 5 power brands in our healthcare range: Dabur Chyawanprash, Dabur Honey, Lal Tel, Honitus, PudinHara, Dabur Amla and Dabur Red in the home and personal care space, and Réal in the food and beverage space for us. So we are focused on that. Our focus has yielded great results for past 3 years actually on power brands, and the power brand growth is 43% as compared to the average company growth of 35%. Similar trend we have seen with power brands even in fiscal year 21 with a growth of 19% as compared to 14% on the other businesses. The Ayurvedic healthcare portfolio has done very well with the tailwind supporting the healthcare business. Health supplement grew by 42.5%, OTC at 37%, and ethical business around 25%. Because of the increasing demand and the businesses in healthcare doing well, we've augmented our capacities in Chyawanprash to meet the surge in demand for Ayurvedic product. That's why we've committed around 550 crores in Madhya Pradesh, MP, that I alluded to in my presentation. We are ramping up our manufacturing capacities and launching additional manufacturing space for these products. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Then many shareholders, while speaking, covered in their statement that the last bonus given by the company was in the year 2010. It's been 11 years since then. Does the company have any plans for bonus issue, or in a way requested the company to consider the fresh bonus issue? I would like to inform these shareholders that the board will consider the bonus issue at an appropriate time. Then one of the question probably at the end was from Mr. Dubey, who wanted to know that with surge in revenue and profits, how is company ensuring to maintain the same growth pattern in coming quarters, and what are the new upcoming product launches by the company? Mr. Mohit Malhotra, please, you can answer.
compared to other developed markets. So we've actually seen penetration levels in a brand like Chyawanprash actually double. So there's a huge headroom for growth still. We are below 10% as compared to other Western countries, which is in 50.
Mr. Mohit sir, you are on mute. I would request you to unmute and proceed. Thank you.
So my apologies, I think by mistake I pressed the mute button. HPC and food and beverage portfolio are seeing strong resurgence. And in financial year 22, we saw HPC growing at 26% and food and beverage growing by 80%. Going ahead for the year, we are targeting a mid-teen growth even in the HPC.
Sorry to interrupt. There's a moderator here. I would request you to switch on your camera as well. Thank you.
Yeah, apologies for that again. So in financial year 21, we launched more than 50 new products in health juices and health crops, herbs, honey, across our categories, and new products contributed to around 5% of our revenue. If you compare a year ago back, our product contribution was only in the range of around 1.5 to 2%, and now it's dramatically gone up across all. Going forward, I am very confident that our healthy pipelines for new products will continue, and we will continue to capture unmet needs of the consumers and the opportunities that present themselves to us. Due to the competitive reasons, I'm not able to review the specific details of the entities coming up, but innovation remains a cornerstone of growth strategy going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Malhotra. The next question is on the plastic waste management, whereby Mr. Tarun said that the Dabur has set itself the target of becoming a plastic waste neutral company by the end of this current financial year. Even the chairman spoke on this during the speech. So he wanted to know what are the company's plans to achieve this target. If Mr. Malhotra, you can take this question.
Yeah, Mr. Jain. So we've set ourselves a target of becoming a plastic waste neutral company by the end of this financial year. We've already recycled around 11,000 metric tons of plastic waste in last year, which was the COVID year, and there was a headwinds. Therefore, our commitment of becoming plastic waste neutral last year was not fulfilled. But this year, we've already recycled 9,000 metric tons, and by the end of the year, we'll be recycling 22,000 metric tons, and which will make us plastic waste neutral as per our commitment.
Thank you. The next question is on AdPro expenses, which I will request Mr. Ankush Jain, CFO, to reply. The question is, why had AdPro expenses shot by 21% during the year? How much of this was spent toward the digital medium of the advertisement? And in COVID times, with lockdown imposed in most part of the country, was the company only dependent upon the TV commercial as the only means, or as there were other hardly beneficial modes of other advertisement were available due to the almost nil newspaper published copies being circulated among the public? Ankush, if you can.
Sure. Thanks, Mr. Jain. Dabur spent rupees, I think, almost 784 crores on advertisement and promotion during FY21, which was almost 8.2% of revenues. The advertisement expenditure increased by 21% during the year to drive growth of our brands and also the new product developments, products which were launched during the year. We launched almost 50 new products during the year, which had to be supported by these advertising spends. We are also increasing our digital spends, which were around 21% in FY21 as against 13% in FY20 to connect with millennials and Gen Z. On second part of your question, during the first and second COVID wave, the company focused on TV advertisements and digital spends as these were the mediums being consumed. Print and outdoor spends were lower on account of lockdown. Further, going forward, we will continue to invest behind the channels and brands where maximum consumption is happening. Thanks.
Thanks, Ankushi. Then we had a shareholder, Mr. K. Ram, joining this AGM from Nepal. Yes, good to note that the shareholders are joining the AGM from different cities and even overseas. He mentioned that the company had entered into the segment like cow ghee and other staples like cooking oil, cold pressed mustard oil, sesame oil. So he wanted to know how has the consumer's response been on these products. I request Mr. Mohit Malhotra to take this question.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jain. Our food and beverage business has seen many new product launches, as you saw, as I alluded in my presentation. We've entered into value-added edible oils in the ghee category. These launches enable us to enter into a very large and a growing market focusing on with a health and wellness proposition, which is also our core capability, and that's what we are committed as per our vision. These products have been very well accepted by the consumers and they are seeing great traction. Although we've only test piloted these brands on e-commerce platform, we will extend them into other channels like modern trade and GT after seeing the response of the consumers. So we'll wait for some more time before extending it to the modern trade.
Thanks, Mr. Malhotra. Mr. Bhatnagar asked the question relating to declaration of special dividend, then what is the company dividend distribution policy, and also any increase in the dividend amount. Let me inform the shareholder that the company has in place a dividend distribution policy since long, and it was recently revived in the financial year 21. The endeavor of the revised policy is to maintain the dividend payout ratio as near as possible to 50% of the Dabur's consolidated profit after tax, as against the earlier 40% of the consolidated profit after tax, which is a clear 25% increase over the previous year. So in a way, this is a special dividend. However, still the board will consider and decide if and when any special dividend is to be paid. And then we are also conserving the surplus cash for a possible acquisition whenever we come across any good opportunity. Thanks. Then Mr. Ratra asked the question on what are the company future plans to utilize the cash surplus available in the books of the company. As I told in the reply to previous question that we are conserving the surplus cash for a possible acquisition if we come across a good opportunity for the acquisition. And we pay out dividend as per our stated dividend policy, which we have recently increased from 40% of dividend payout ratio to 50% of consolidated profit as the payout ratio. And in financial year 21, we had paid INR 840 crore as dividend, which is a quite substantial amount. And also we are investing around 300 to 350 crore in capital expenditure each year. And in addition, as Mr. Malhotra informed, that we are also in the process of setting up the new manufacturing facility near Indore, which will require around 550 crore of investment over the next 3 to 4 years. So we are conserving the cash for all the purposes. Then another related question was again from Mr. Bhatnagar, that with the dividend distribution tax having been abolished by the government, what has been the net impact of the same in the company's financial? Is it beneficial to the company or not? Dear shareholder, earlier the dividend company used to pay was exclusive of tax, and company used to pay the dividend distribution tax in addition to that to the government. Since dividend distribution tax has been abolished by the government, now we have increased the dividend payout by including the tax amount in the dividend amount. And since the tax will be payable in the recipient hands now, so there is no impact on cash outflow of the company on account of dividend distribution tax, which has been abolished by the government. Then next question is from Ms. Kaushik, who asked, how is the skincare segment performing currently? As the sales have been on the lower side for this segment, what steps are being taken by the company to revive the sales growth of the skincare segment? Do company have any plans to acquire new brands under skincare segment? I request Mr. Malhotra to please take this question. You can unmute yourself, Mohit.
Yeah, so in financial year 22, we saw 66% growth in the portfolio of skincare if we exclude sanitizer range. Sanitizer range were contextual and we launched them in the COVID year, and that saw a revenue of around 100 crores in financial year 21. If I leave that aside, the growth in skincare was 62. So there was a tremendous performance by the skincare, albeit coming on a lower base. As the restrictions are getting reduced and mobility is improving, discretionary categories like skincare should see a revival. And with parlors, beauty parlors also opening up, there should be a further fillip to this portfolio being given by consumers moving out. We keep evaluating proposals on your second point, and we'll keep considering an acquisition when we find a good company or a brand which is strategic fit to the operations of the organization and it's available at a right price.
Thanks. Another question was relating to our stellar brand Dabur Honey. The shareholder mentioned that the company has increased its range of honey variants, whether the company manufacture all these honey variants within India or not, and how does the company support the beekeepers? Again, I request Mr. Malhotra to answer this question.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jain. We are completely Atmanirbhar as far as Dabur is concerned. All our honey is completely indigenous, procured and packed in India only. During the year 2021, Dabur had launched a project called Dabur Madhu Project, a new initiative to promote beekeeping as a very lucrative enterprise for farmers and SMEs and small and medium enterprises. As a part of this initiative, we are engaging with local NGOs which are based out of Bihar, Jharkhand and Assam to create an ecosystem that offers them training, which offers them technical know-how and also provides a market for their product and therefore access to other markets also besides only Dabur. Thank you.
Thanks. Another shareholder asked the question relating to online business, which is booming during Corona times, with players like Flipkart and Amazon registering highest ever sales. Does the company plan to sell all its products to be readily available on these online marketplaces? He also wanted to know, does online channel affect the profit margin of the company? Again, I request Mr. Malhotra to take up this question.
So, last question first. I think we have all our product basket actually available on the online platforms. If I look at e-commerce, there are 4 subparts to e-commerce. First is the marketplaces like Amazon and Flipkart. Our products are available there. The second basket is, which is healthcare relevant, is e-pharmacies and 1mg, NetMed and PharmEasy. All our healthcare range is available there because they don't stock the FMCG range, so they are available. Then the third vertical of e-commerce is our grocery, which is grocers and big basket. Our entire relevant range is available there. And the fourth basket there is the e-B2B, where also our products are available, which is e-B2B. E-commerce has grown substantially in the business. A couple of years back, it was 2% contribution to the business. Now it is 8% contribution of the business. It has grown by 2.7x in the fiscal year that we end. In the current quarter, it's contributing to, it's also doubled the business in the first quarter of this year. As far as the profitability margins are concerned, e-commerce profitability is in line with the company average. Thank you. Yeah.
Then Mr. Agarwal, joining this AGM from Dubai, he wanted to know how our company's foreign subsidiary performing. Is there any impact of COVID-19 in the international subsidiary business? Again, request Mr. Mohit Malhotra to please answer this.
So our international business contributes around 26% of the consolidated sales in financial year 21. This was reduced slightly. Earlier it was 30%, now 26% when compared to previous year. As the domestic India business saw higher growth in financial year 21, you saw international business growing at 4% as compared to the India business, which registered a growth of 15%. And this is mainly on account of currency depreciation in some market and impact on account of COVID, which was acute in some geographies and macroeconomic headwinds that they faced. Overall, we believe that international business contribution will remain in the range of around 26% to 30%. as both the businesses, India business and also the international business, will continue to grow at double digits. We are seeing recovery in international business with COVID-related issues receding now for MENA, and as the crude prices have also gone up and the MENA economies are also dependent on crude, we're seeing a uptrend in the demand there also. So in the current year, we'll see a double-digit growth even in our international markets. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. Then we had Mr. Samir joining us from Kerala, and he was concerned about the company's sales growth in Kerala, and he stated that the South total, as compared to total sales of the company, South India contributes only 15% of the sale, which is lower than our competitors, and wanted to know what is the company plan to enhance its presence in South India. I request Mr. Malhotra again to please reply.
Yeah, South India is very important for our business. We understand there is an opportunity wherein the contribution coming from South India is a little lower as compared to other parts of the country. We are seeing above country average growth happening in South India, with 19% growth happened in financial year 21, and it's now around 19% of our business. For other companies, if I look at peers, it will be ahead of around 25% also. Some of our brands have really done well in south of India. For example, Dabur Red is our flagship brand in the south of India, and it's a #1 toothpaste brand in some geographies in south of India. In Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, it's actually a #1 brand. We're also launching South-specific products and embarking on huge innovation. For example, the Alpha range I talked about in my presentation is exclusively launched, done for the South India. Dabur Gold Coconut Oil is our entry into strengthening our position in coconut oils, as it is a coconut market, and cold press sesame oil also launched in South India. We are taking regional celebrities and influencers on board in South India. We've signed with Nagarjuna. As you all know, he's a very famous celebrity, regional brand ambassador for Dabur Chyawanprash. For Dabur Vatika, which is a big brand in South India, we've engaged with Samantha Ruth Prabhu as a regional brand ambassador for South Indian markets. We'll continue to drive higher penetration, launch new brands, innovation, connect with consumers of South India, and grow the business there. It's good to have an opportunity for future growth for us. Thank you.
Thanks. And another shareholder raised the question, had the company expanded its distribution coverage in FY21? How much of the company's sales came from the rural markets? Again, I request Mr. Malhotra to please reply.
I already talked about this in my presentation, that our direct reach has gone up from 1.2 million outlets to 1.3 million outlets. There's an enhancement of 100,000 outlets that we've actually added in our direct reach that we reach out. While we reach out to 69 lakh outlets, but this is our direct reach here. Our chemist reach has also gone up to around 2.6, and by end of this year we'll be reaching out to around 2.75 lakh chemist outlets, and we are engaging with chemists, and we are having chemist engagement programs as we increase our healthcare portfolio. Chemist channel becomes extremely important for us. As far as rural business is concerned, our village coverage has increased to 70,000 villages that we are reaching directly, and more villages are being reached by the wholesalers, which I'm not talking about, but 70,000 has got increased from 60,000. We've also appointed around 4,500 village level entrepreneurs, what we, as per our Yodha program. This is a seeding of villages, which in future will become great business contributors for us. That's a Yodha plan. We have at one end, it increases our landscape of rural reach. On the other hand, it provides livelihood and local people staying in those villages. Rural contribution to our business is in the range of 45 to 48% of our sales. We are continuously expanding. The number of 6.5 lakh outlets, 6.5 lakh villages, and we are only reaching out to around 70,000 villages. So huge opportunity going forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Mohit. Next question is from Mr. Raman, who asked which channels have seen the high growth in the sales of the company. So I again request Mr. Malhotra to please reply.
So e-commerce by far, I think, has been the star performer in financial year 21, and the sales growth, as I alluded to earlier, is 2.7x of last year's sales, and currently it's contributing to 8%. Even if I see last quarter of this fiscal year, we've grown by 100% in e-commerce. While there is a change of regulation and we are seeing some sort of a headwind coming in e-commerce as the restrictions are easing out and modern trade is opening up, some consumers are shifting from e-commerce to modern trade, but that's a temporary shift we see and the business will actually stabilize. Rural has also done well for us and that's also a pillar of growth. As I told you, there are 6.5 lakh people in the country, they're only reaching to 70,000, so huge headroom for growth. And as the incidence of COVID was lesser in the first wave, financial year 21, now it's been higher. And V-shaped recovery that we see in rural India. And there is a lot of stimulus which is being given by the government in form of Manrega outlay increases and therefore employment opportunities are going up there. MSPs have been increased. PM Kisan Yojana announced by the Prime Minister and to top it up, a great monsoon. Even in Q1 22, despite COVID cases shooting up in rural, we saw a growth of more than 25%. So I think rural is extremely resilient. We see recovery and we see a great opportunity. So rural and e-commerce by far stand out in terms of channels. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. That was the last question. So I thank Mr. Malhotra and Mr. Ankush Jain for giving the replies to the members' queries. If any question has remained unanswered, the reply will be sent to the concerned member via email. Members may please note that the e-voting facility has been made available and you can still vote during next 15 minutes. Members who have still not cast their vote yet are requested to do so. The Board of Directors have appointed CS Navneet Arora, Practicing Company Secretary, Managing Partner of Navneet K. Arora & Co. LLP as the scrutinizer to supervise the e-voting process. And he is available and had joined this meeting today through video conferencing. The result of the voting shall be submitted to the stock exchanges where company shares are listed and be also placed on the website of the company at the earliest, but not later than 48 hours from the end of this meeting. The resolution as set forth in the notice shall be deemed to be passed today, subject to receipt of requisite number of votes. I thank all the shareholders, members of the board, auditors, and management team for joining this meeting over video conferences. Thank you all for attending the meeting and are hereby declared the meeting as closed with the permission of chairman. Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jain. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.